Okay, let's begin all. So someone lost connection, I guess. Yeah. Okay. First question. Our first question is about how many solutions does the following inequality has? But, you know, if you just go into very, let's say, complex calculations, you lose very precious amount of time. Instead, could you think something else? Like, is there something else that you can think of? Mark, could you please turn your camera off because, you know, maybe your connection will not be very well. Okay, so, okay, just check the expression and can you tell me something about the expression, you know, the term above, the term below? You know, it's just about signs, right? Because two things are divided and we want its sign to be negative or zero. So can you tell me anything about signs? Come on, people, we know each other for a while. Just tell me. For example, what would you like to say about the sign of this guy? X squared plus 1. What is the sign of x squared plus 1?
Positive.
Positive. And strictly positive. It can't be 0 at all. What about x minus 1 squared?
Positive as well.
But, very well. So now positive over positive is positive. Mark, can x minus 5, because it can be 0, can x minus 5 make the whole expression 0 in this circumstance?
When
you know,
x is 5.
5 is the expression, is the whole expression 0? Is the whole expression 0? Since it's in the denominator, so can we have 0 in the denominator? No, right?
Right.
In fact, this expression cannot be 0 even. So how many solutions does the following inequality has? So it's always positive. It can't be even 0. What's your answer?
A.
A. And also, know this. It's one question from earlier year, one of earlier Bocconi example questions. Not this year's, but previous years. So x squared plus x 0, how many solutions to that? Let's think. X times x minus 1 is less than 0. Let's make a small table. So x plus 1. What makes x 0? 0. Sorry. What makes x plus 1 0? Minus 1, because I have to write them in order. So x is negative, negative here, positive here. X plus 1, negative here, positive, positive here. When I multiply them, positive here, negative here, positive here. So the solution to this inequality is negative 1 and 0. So my question is, how many solutions, how many real solutions does this have? Tell me. Maria, how many solutions does this have? How many numbers do we have between minus 1 and 0? Do you have an answer? So think as a line here. We have minus 1 and 0. How many real numbers do we have here? Victoria?
Infinite.
Infinite. And know that between any real numbers, we have infinite. Okay, your mark is not working. Okay. Between any real numbers, we have infinite real numbers. Okay, know that as well. So you can have such easy questions. Don't get surprised. What is the solution of the equation below? Log x is 0. Then what's the solution? Log what is 0? In any base. In any base. Log what is 0? I'm sure you have an answer. For example, log in base b, some base, x is 0, which means b to the power 0 is x. What is b to the power 0? Let me check. 1. Yes, thank you, Maria. So log 1 is 0. So you can have such easy questions. What's the solution to the equation? X squared minus 7x minus 30 is 0. So my advice to you, if you have this answer, check, quickly if, the equation has solutions or not. So it's done by delta, b squared minus 4ac. And since a is positive and c is negative, I am sure that delta is positive. Here, I don't do even the calculations. So the equation has solutions. There are two possible ways to do that. Sometimes, you like to factorize. Like what? How to do that? For example, to have negative 7 here, xx, let's say negative 10 and plus 3, which means x minus 10, x plus 3 is 0. So x is 10 or x is negative 3. Another way is replacing the numbers here, negative 3 and 10. But I'm going to propose something different. If you are sure that there are solutions, know these two identities. Please know these, because in another question, they can ask you directly the sum or the product of the solutions. So it's going to be very useful. The sum of solutions is negative b over a. The product of solutions is c over a. So sum of the solutions is negative 7 over 1, which is 7. The product is negative 30 over 1, negative 30. I check the answer with a sum of 7 and a product of negative 30. I find C. Okay? So please ask me if you have any questions. This one. Suppose A and B are two real but not rational random numbers. Then which of the following must be true? I made this question a bit more difficult. Rational numbers. What's a rational number? Rational numbers are the ones that we can write as a fraction, like 1, negative 5 over 2, 0, I don't know, minus 3.1, right? 100 over 3, something like that. Irrational numbers, they are, usually, square root of 2, square root of 3, or, let's say fourth root of 10, some numbers like that. You can understand. So, real numbers, in the Bocconi test, in fact, we all see real numbers. We all work with real numbers. But let's try to think about a number which is not real, like square root of -2 is not real, because no real number square can be -2. Okay? So, my question, then which of the following must be true? If A, B are two real but not rational numbers, think them like square root of something, but not like square root of 4, because square root of 4 is rational because it's 2. Okay? A times B is rational. Does that have to be true? A times B, does that have to be rational? Think about two square roots and irrational square roots. Does their multiplication have to be rational?
No.
No. For example, square root of 2, square root of 3. Does their multiplication have to be not rational? No, again. Square root of 2, square root of 2, which is 2, which is rational. Okay? A plus B is rational. No. Let's say square root of 2 plus square root of 3. Absolute value of A plus absolute value of B is not rational. So I did that on purpose, because if I didn't use absolute values, for example, A plus B, in a rational case, square root of 2 plus negative square root of 2, which is 0, which is a rational number. But if two irrational numbers are positive, if I sum them up, it must be irrational as well. Square root of A times B is real. No, because it could be square root of 2 and, let's say, negative square root of 3. So since I have square root of a negative number, then it can be not real as well. So the correct answer is D. But as I said, this question is a bit more difficult than the usual. And please tell me if you didn't understand anything. If not, I'm going to proceed. Okay, let's go. And I did the same thing. There are median and mean questions. And I did the same thing. I made it a bit more difficult. 4 students have a median grade of 60 and a mean grade of 65 in a specific exam. Which of the following must be true? 4 students. So, someone, please, would you tell me, what does a median grade of 60 mean here when we have 4 students? Please tell me. Okay, Maria, I got your message. You said D, but let's think more. First, median means what in this context? What do you think? Median was the one in the middle, right? So which ones would be in the middle?
Between the second and the third.
So I'm going to take the average of them, right? So their sum will be 120. Okay? So mean is 65. So the sum of all four is 260. Sum of all is 260. So 260 minus 120 is 140. The first and the fourth, the minimum and maximum, they have a sum of 140. All grades are equal. Does that have to be true? No, not really, because as you can see, they have different sums. The highest grade is at least 80. Please tell me what you think. But please tell me this time for real, I want to hear. The highest grade is at least 80. So highest and lowest have a sum of 140. Then please tell me the maximum grade for the lowest. So this guy can be what? Highest. The minimum has a maximum value of what? So the minimum cannot be greater than that value. What is that value?
Hello, can you hear me? I think now
Yeah.
it's working.
I can hear you, Maria.
Okay. I don't think the highest grade is at least 80 because if you do 140 minus 80, it leaves with 60 and the lowest isn't 60 because...
Why not?
Because the other one is 55.
Why?
Right?
Can't we have, very good, your remark is very, very well. Can't we have this? Can't we have this configuration? 60, 60, 60, 80. Right?
Yeah.
I got you. You say that since the second and third, their mean is 60, you say it must be 55 and 65.
Yes, but it can be...
Why not 59.9 and 60.1? Why not 60 and 60? Right?
Yeah.
So but the minimum cannot have more than 60. Why not? Because then the median cannot be 60.
Exactly. Because then you had to add like 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must have the others, if it is greater than 60, the others must be greater than 60 as well. So median must be greater than 60. So the highest grade is at least 80. The lowest grade is for sure less than 60. No, because I showed that it can be 60. At least one grade is 60. No, because as you said, it can be 55 and 65 in the middle. The minimum is lower, the maximum is higher. The lowest grade is more than 50. Their sum is 120. I can even do 20 and 100. Right? So B is the correct answer.
Sorry, can you explain what a mean grade is?
Average.
The average between the last and the first
mean.
one?
No. Mean is average. So average of all of them is 65. So what is mean? What is average? I sum them all and I divide by the number of observations in that one.
And then what is a median grade?
Median is the one in the middle. Like if you have, let's say 9 observations, median is, the first 4 here, let's say you sort them up, okay? the highest 4 is here, lowest 4 is here. Median is the 5th guy. Do you understand?
Yes.
And if you have even number of observations, let's say if you have 12 observations, so 6, 6 here. Median is the average of 6th and the 7th. Okay? So if you have odd number of observations, median is just the one in the middle. If you have even number of observations, median is the one of the average of the ones in the middle. Okay?
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So therefore, I understand that the second and third has an average of 60, so their sum is 120. And all observations have an average of 65, so their sum is 260, and the minimum and the maximum has a sum of 140 because 260 minus 120 is 140. Okay? Any other questions? I'm gonna.
Could you repeat, why was it 140?
Because 260 is sum of all 4, and 120 is the sum of the ones in the middle. So 140 is the sum of the minimum and the maximum.
Okay, so you just times the number of students by the mean.
Yeah, because if sum of number of students is mean times number of students is sum.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
But I repeat, this is more difficult than the usual level. They usually ask the median or mean, and please know that if the question is about median or if the question is about mean, don't mix that, don't confuse them. So please do these parabola questions. They are super easy. First, the shape is this or this. Since A is positive, so I have a positive coefficient of x squared, which is 1, then the shape is this one.
Mm-hmm.
First, this one. Second, y-intercept
is positive.
Positive. Then, okay, all 3 can be our correct answer. Third, vertex x, negative b over 2a. So x coordinate of the vertex, which is negative 2 over 1, negative 2. Hence, it must be, the x coordinate of vertex must be on the left. This one goes because here vertex x is negative, here vertex x is negative, okay? X coordinate of the vertex, know this. And I think in the Bocconi test, you will reach your answer in these 3 steps, but I add effort, to make it more difficult. So x-intercepts are like the number of solutions of this equation when x squared plus 2x plus 2 is 0. So here, no x-intercepts. Here, no x-intercepts, as you can see. So delta is less than 0. Here, one x-intercept, delta is 0. So I calculate delta, b squared minus 4ac, know delta very well. 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2, negative 4. No x-intercepts, I choose A. Okay? I'm checking chat. What is vertex x? It is the x-coordinate of vertex. I write it like this. I don't know, maybe someone writes this differently. But, Liam, you asked it. Okay, Vx, I call it like x-coordinate of the vertex. X-coordinate of the vertex. So it's the third step, do that. It is negative b over 2a. Is that clear? Okay, thank you. So please know this parabola question very, very well. Okay, let's do some probability. This year, probability, I think you are going to have less probability questions. Maybe good news for many students. An urn contains 10 balls numbered from 1 to 10. 2 balls are withdrawn with replacement. What's the probability that the sum of the two numbers is greater than 12? If we know that the first ball withdrawn has number less than 5. So I am sure that the first ball is less than 5. So then it is given to me. It is given. If it is given, I must take it as it is. So therefore, these probabilities are 1 over 4. 1 over 4, 1 over 4. Anyone objects that, any question about that? Because since it is given to me, then I must assume that. Do you have any questions about this assumption? Okay.
What do you mean by given?
Given means like you assume that, you take it as given. Because if we know that the first ball withdrawn has number less than 5, it's a given fact.
Okay.
It's a given fact. I didn't find it. It was given to me as a fact. I throw a die and I ask you, if it is given that I have an odd number on the die, what's the probability of a 5? What would you say?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I tell you that the number in the die is odd. And I ask you, what's the probability of a 5? What would you say?
Three over 5?
5 is only 1, but odd numbers are 3, 1 over 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because it is given that it's odd.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
Okay. So it's like this in this question. So therefore, what's the probability that the sum of the two numbers is greater than 12? If the first one is 2, if the first one is 1, what's the probability that the sum is greater than 12? What do you think?
You can't have because the maximum number is 10, right?
So 0.
Yeah, 0.
Same thing for 2, 0.
For 2. Mm-hmm.
So
Then
for
you
2,
have
tell me.
3 and 10 if you want.
If I have the first one 3, the second one should be 10, right?
Yes.
So the probability is 1 over 10.
1 over 10.
1 over 10. If I have 4 in the first one,
you can do 4, 9 or 4, 10.
So 2 over 10.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do? As usual, I multiply these and I add those blocks, like 1 over 4 times 1 over 10 plus 1 over 5, 4 times 2 over 10, which is like 3 over 40. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes.
The first part, it says 3 over 4, right?
No.
Or 1. Wait.
Sorry. It is the probability of a 3 is 1 over 4.
Oh, okay. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I proceed. So now, please read this one and tell me if you have that in the Bocconi test. How many? With which one would you begin? The first one or the second one? Which one is easier for you? Tell me.
The second one?
Okay, maybe, but the second one does not give you definite answers.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one does. X minus 2 is 5, or x minus 2 is minus 5. X is 7, or tell me the second one. X is
-3.
minus 3. So now, if this is a system, both equations or inequalities must be satisfied. So, which one satisfies this one? Or which one or which ones satisfy this one?
When x is 7.
X is 7. 7 squared is 49.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw greater than
Yeah.
3.
So, negative 3, right?
Yeah.
So, one solution. So, you can do similar stuff for all system of equations. But, you know, again, classic Bocconi test questions, like y is x squared plus 5x plus 3. Y is, let's say, 3x minus 7. So how many solutions does the following system of equation has? X squared plus 5 plus 3 is 3x minus 7. We do the same thing as always. So x squared plus 2x plus 10 is 0. What do I do? Check delta. Delta is 4 minus 40, negative 36. So no solutions, for example. Hence, what I mean is here I have a different structure. So it's just what I do is finding the solutions in one and checking that in the second. Or, you know, let's change the question a bit more. I don't know. They tend to like quadratics. Let's make the first one x squared plus 5x, let's say, plus 6 is 0. You know, this first equation has two solutions. X equals minus 3, x equals, what's that? Minus 2. So I check them here. They both satisfy. So two solutions, for example, in this one. Do you understand?
Yes.
Please think with respect to the, you know, equation given to you, or inequalities or systems. Please know stuff, and, you know, please be, let's say, a bit, what's the word? Like adaptive. Like you can adapt to different systems very easily. So this was a previous previous year sample questions, but I changed it a bit. Now there is a circle inside the square with the maximum possible area. Square's area is A. So what's the area of the circle inside the square? So it is R. Hence, square's side is what? So if circle has a radius of R, square side is?
Half of R.
No, 2R.
Oh, sorry.
2R. Okay, then square has an area of A, which is equal to 4R square, right? And circle's area is, circle has an area of pi R square. So what is that in terms of A? Tell me. What's that in terms of A? Come on. If A is 4R square, what is pi R square in terms of A? Is that difficult? No idea? A is 4r squared. What is pi r squared? Like r squared is a over 4. Then pi r squared is pi times a over 4, which is pi over 4a. That's it. So, I asked circle inside square instead of square inside circle. Both is good. 9. Okay, for 9, I'm gonna take answers from everyone, either in chat, or tell me through mic. Everyone, write me something. Just if you don't want to speak, write me something that you find best through chat. You can DM me, direct message me. Come on, people. Okay, I got my first message. Zero is less than x, less than y. Which of the following must be true? Must be true. If 0 is less than x, less than y. Okay, go on. Anyone else? Message me if you didn't message. No idea at all. Okay. 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 So you all think that, not all, but most of you, okay, yeah, I get it. C is getting more and more stronger. You think that, x is less than y. How can x not be less than y squared? But when I give you a single example, you will say, oh, okay, x, y, y squared. My example is 0.25, 0.5, sorry, 0.4, and y squared is 0.16. You see? So between 0 and 1, if the opposite is not specified, between 0 and 1, squaring or cubing or taking the fourth power, greater power makes the number smaller, while square rooting, cubic rooting makes the number greater between 0 and 1, right? It's the exception. But here, of course, I can use the exception. So x is less than y. I know they are both positive. If they are both positive, I can multiply that by a positive number. Hence, xy is less than y squared, which is E. Okay? Do you understand? I think you understand when I mentioned between 0 and 1, right?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that exception.
Yeah. There's those exceptions, yeah. Sometimes they use those in the questions. So, same, there's a function like this, function graph. Tell me via chat which answer you think to be true. Choose one quickly. Check quickly. Okay. E, C, C, D. Okay. So, first, x squared is not, right? This is a completely different function. like x squared. 3x is a linear function like this. So 3 over x is, this is the correct answer. Log base 3 x is like, it is coming from negative infinity, and it is 1 in 3, and it goes like this. 3 to the power minus x is like, it is 1 when x is 0, because 3 to the power 0 is 1, and it goes like, when x becomes greater, it decreases. But I can, I can think that you ask me like, oh, are we gonna draw all graphs like this? No, you won't. So think about 0, for example. It's getting very big when x is 0. But here, it passes through 0, 0, eliminated. 0, 0, eliminated. And when x is 0, it is 1, eliminated. When x goes to 0, it goes to negative infinity, so eliminated. But, for example, you couldn't think of D. Then check, let's say, another point. When x is 1, this is 3. So log 3, 1 is 0, as you all know. Eliminated. So choose C. Okay? Use points. Use points in these graph questions. You will really thank me. Okay. This is asked in previous, I asked that a lot in my simulations. Similar questions were asked in the previous years. Let's say Bocconi Test example questions. So what's the best approximation of log base 10? A horrible number. But just think them as zeros and this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 zeros. So log base 10, 10 to the power 9. What's that? What's that? Write to me. Okay, you don't want to speak, so this chat option is better. What's log base 10? 10 to the power 9. Yeah, it's 9, right? It's just 9. Easy. Very well. 12. You can think 12 as a rule as well. Or if you don't know the rule, it's like log base BA is 1 over log base AB. So hence it's 1 over C. But suppose that you don't know it. Log base BA is C, which means B to the power C is A. Hence, I take 1 over C power of both sides. B is A to the power 1 over C, which means log base AB is 1 over C. It's just simple. But of course, you can think that as a rule as well. Okay, so sometimes a question can be very difficult, but can seem very difficult, but the solution is very simple. For which value of R does the point 3, 4 belong to the circle given by the equation x squared plus y squared equals R squared? Oh, circle equation, very difficult, I don't know. But the solution is in fact very, very simple. So let me take your answers via chat. Tell me, what do you think? Okay. 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 I see a lot of D. I will just something to D supporters. Check the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, you see what? R squared. What does the question ask you? R. So, is that D? On the right-hand side, there is r squared. And the question is about r. So you did what? You did 3 squared plus 4 squared is r squared. So 25 is r squared. So r is 5. Okay? So as you can see, the solution can be very, very easy. So it is D, 5. Let's go. Okay, I like these ones. Okay, let's get the answers, everyone. Okay. Okay. Any other answers, please? I want to see. Okay, so now I'm gonna do something, and yeah, and very good, usually good. So let's do. It was 100, and it has become 110 in a day. So from 100 to 110, and it went back to the original price. So it decreased by 10 in the second day. So it decreased 10 in 110. So 1 over 11, which is 9%. Do these small, things in your solutions. You won't lose anything by drawing this one, okay? Any questions about this? Very well. How many possible solutions are there to the equation x plus y plus z equals 6, where the numbers are all positive integers such that x is greater than or equal to y and y is greater than or equal to z? In these questions, I do systematic counting. Like I begin with the greatest maximum number, 4, 1, 1. Here, I cannot interchange x, y, z locations because greater than or equal to, I cannot violate that. And they can be equal because it's like in the inequalities. 3, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. 3 times. Okay? It's just that. So according to the, let's say, given inequality, please do some systematic counting. Okay, I proceed quickly. Like you can interrupt me and ask me anything. What should the values of B and C be if -3 and -6 are solutions to the equation 3x squared plus bx plus c? I showed that to my students a lot. I included that in my simulations. So many of you would say, I would plug them in. So -3, -6. So, you would have to solve equations like this. 3 times 9 are -3b plus c is 0. And in the second one, 36, 3, 108 plus, or -6b plus c is 0. You would solve this and, proceed like this. But we know that x1 plus x2 is -9, which means -b over a is 3 here, -9, which means b is 27. x1 times x2 is what? 18. C over 3 is 18. C is 54. Easier, huh? So please use these expressions when necessary. Please know quadratics very well. I don't say, I don't say like you must know everything for the Bocconi test. Of course, there are going to be some questions that you miss. There are going to be some questions that you don't know, but know quadratics very well, as I showed you. Okay, you can have such easy questions as well. Log 10 minus log 2 is log 5. Know this. Same base. If these guys are added, I can merge them in a single log by multiplying them. Same base. If you subtract them, you can merge them by dividing. That's it. So I don't care about the base. Log 10 minus log 2 is log 5 at the same base. Do you have any questions about it? So it is as easy as I showed it. Okay? So my message is, in the exam, in the first round, in the first tour, your first tour, try to catch easy math questions, maybe some critical thinking questions. They are easy as well. So catch as many questions as you can in the first round. And you will warm up, you will have self-confidence. So it's going to be much better for you. X plus y is n. X minus 2, x minus y is n. Find x and y in terms of m and n. If they were numbers, I would sum them up. I would sum two equations up and I would, get rid of y's. I'm going to do the same thing. 2x is n plus n. X is n plus n over 2. And hence y is m. Or let's do the same thing. Let's subtract the equations. So let's get rid of x's. Y minus y, 2y is m minus n. Y is m minus n over 2. So it is C. Okay? I do exactly the same what I do with numbers. So this one. First, don't do any calculation. No calculation is necessary. Tell me your answer via chat without doing any calculation. Tell me what you think. Okay. Okay. So now, if you say, 2 or 3 or 1 or infinite, just give me examples of your solutions as a number. Just give me a number. Can you find a number? Okay, let me change the question. Okay, 2 or 3, good. Let's say x is 2 or 3. The first one is 0, okay. But the second one is something like that. 4 or 9 minus 4, which is not 0. So please know that you cannot give different x values in a single equation. Okay? So, in a single equation, we can have a single x value. So we can have, different solutions, of course, more than one solution. Okay? But in a single line, I must use the same x value. So tell me again, what's the solution? So which answer do you think is the right one? Come on, people, I gave, I think, sufficient hint. Yeah. More answers, please. Okay, just tell me what you think, right or wrong. Okay. So, yeah, if the sum of two absolute values is 0, then they must be both equal to 0. But I can't have an x value making both of them 0. So 0. Okay, very well. Composite functions. What is f of g, f of g of x? So let's begin with f of g of x. It is 2x plus 1 minus 3, 2x plus 2 minus 3, 2x minus 1. f of g of x is 2x minus 1 minus 3. So 4x minus 2 minus 3, 4x minus 5. It's just that. Please, try to do that yourself. Okay. Same question, but now, again, let me have the answers. Just write me what you think. Write to me what you think. Okay. Okay, very well. Very careful. Very good. What else? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else? Please, if you didn't write, please write. Okay. Okay. Wrong answers. Very good. So I again tell you to have a quick check if you have this. Just do a quick check before solving the equation. Just do a quick check. Delta 16 minus 48 less than 0. And anyway, the other answers cannot fit to the equation. But first, do a quick check with the delta if you have this guy in the solutions, in the answers. And if you believe that delta is, less than 0, then please, do it. So, which of the following can be the graph of the line y equals negative 4x plus 4? I think it's easy. You are going to have a negative slope. Slope will be negative. And y-intercept will be positive. Okay? Y-intercept negative. Slope positive. Slope positive. Slope negative. Y-intercept is positive. I choose this one. And please, if they ask you in this format, 2x plus 3y minus or equals 4, let's say. Please don't say slope is positive here, because let's say 3y is negative 2x plus 4 here. Slope is negative here. If you are given a different line format, just transform that into the other one before concluding with the slope. Okay. If x is a real number, then log base 2 2 to the power x is what? Just tell me. What's this? Log base 2 to the power x.
X?
Yeah, because that goes here. And even if x is negative, it stays negative. Even x is positive, it stays positive. So it's direct x. Because you can have log 2 to the power negative 1 over 2. It's negative 1 over 2. You can have log 2 to the power 3. It's 3. Okay? You can have easy questions. This means set difference. Set difference. The elements in B, but not in A, but not in B. So they are A and B. They are in A, but not in B. B difference A is the elements in B, but not in A, E, and F. So their union is A, B, E, F. Okay? So please know that sign as set difference. A and B are two events such that P, A intersection B is greater than 0. Therefore, first of all, I try to make this as a very difficult question, but I still want to know what you think. Just check, no calculation, nothing. Just check it and tell me your ideas. Just tell me which one is the right answer. Okay, just guess. Just tell me something. Okay. Any other ideas? Okay. Let's check one by one. First, if P probability of A intersection B is probability of A times probability of B, it is valid only if they are independent. If A and B are not independent, we cannot say this. Okay? A depends on independence of A and B. PA union B is strictly greater than PA. What if A contains B? Then PA union B is equal to PA. What about this one? We know that, right? PA union B, like in stats, equals to PA plus PB minus PA and B. Hence, if that is positive, then from this sum, I subtracted a positive number and I have PA union B. So PA union B must be smaller. This sign, the vertical line, means given. PA given B, we talked about it. Like, what's the probability of having a 5 given that it's odd? Something like that. But know this formula. PA and B over PB. Know this formula. So, look, PB can be less than 1. So, if I divide something by a number less than 1, then it gets greater. So, PA given B usually greater, of course. PA given B less than PA union B. I cannot say that for sure. Because suppose that A contains B, for example. I tell you the extreme case. If B is given, I know that B happened. I also know that A happened because A contains B. Hence, PA given B is 1, for example. I cannot say it is smaller than PA union B. Okay, D and E can be a bit difficult, but you can catch C, very quickly because you must know this formula. What's the equation of the line which is symmetrical? What's the equation of the line which is symmetrical of the line y equals negative 3x plus 5 with respect to the y-axis? So it's like negative 3x plus 5 is this. And when I take symmetrical, take symmetry with respect to y-axis, as you can see, y-intercept stays the same, but slope gets negative.
I think it's C.
C? No. Maria, y-intercept is the same, with respect to y-axis. Y same, slope times negative.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought it meant parallel. I don't know why.
No.
The symmetry.
Just if you are there's a symmetry question, just make a small sketch.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So slope times negative 1, it is 3x plus 1. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So problems. Difference between the ages of two sisters is 5 years. 3 years later, the older sister's age will be the twice of the younger sister age. How old is the older sister now? What are we gonna do? Can you tell me the solution again? What do you think? How can I solve this? No ideas? Let's begin with now younger sister. Let's denote younger sister by x and the older sister by x plus 5. Can you try to solve the problem with the given information after this? Can you try it and, write the answer that you find correct? Or tell me the equation we must proceed with. 3 years later, their ages will be, tell me that then. 3 years later, their ages will be
X plus 3.
X plus 3 and
X plus 5, plus 8.
8. So 2 times X plus 3 is gonna be X plus 8. So 2X plus 6 is gonna be X plus 8. So X is 2 in that case. Okay? X is 2. Hence, how old is the older sister now? How old is the older sister now? If
Seven.
X 2, now how old is the
7.
older? 7. That's it. You know, just a single equation. Or, you know, another idea could be, if it is 6, then now they are 1. The younger sister is 1. 3 years later, 9. 4, no. 7, 2, let's say 10, 5, yes. 8, 3, 11, 6, no. 9, 4, let's say, what? 12, 7, no. So you can, I don't know, check the answers quickly. What's the area of the triangle with corners on the points 3, 5, -1, -1, 6, 5? I do a quick sketch, like 3, 5, 6, 5 here, and -1, -1. So this is the triangle. Since they have the same y, I use this. This is 3, this distance is 3, and height can be easily found by, 5 minus -1, because height is on the y-axis, so it is 6. So 3 times 6 over 2 is 9. I just do a quick sketch and find the area. Okay, last one. In a chess tournament of 10 players, each player plays with all the other players, once with white pieces and once with black pieces. How many games in total will be played in this tournament? I want to hear a solution proposal in this one, please. Just one of you, last question, one of you tell me. If you see that in the exam, what would you do?
I placed like, it has to be white and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they can switch because they play 2 times at least.
Okay, they play each other 2 times. Each player plays each player 2 times. Okay.
So I did 2 factorial.
Okay.
Times 10, but I think the answer, it's too little, like 20, it seems too little.
Okay. So 10, because 10 doesn't fit. So think about all player pairs. So 2 factorial is perfect in your case. Time, think about all player pairs. How many player pairs do we have? How many pairs do 10 players have? Tell me that. How do you choose 2 elements? How many teams of 2 do you have in 10 players? So how do we do selection? By combination. Okay? So, in another question, if you are given like, in how many ways you can choose a team of 2 from 10 people? What are you gonna do? You will do 10-2 combination, right?
Which is 45.
45 times.
So 90.
90. So we have an interesting solution in the chat. I'm gonna check that. 9, 8, 7 times 2. Thinking. Okay. Why is it decreasing? 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Why is it decreasing? Or are they, Felix, are they multiplications or are they summations? 17, 24, 30, 35, 39, 42, 44, 1, 45. Is that, it's correct, but please tell me okay, your answer is right, but please tell me your idea. Like, I can't see how you reach the correct answer.
I think everybody has to play against everybody, and if the first person already played with, let's say, the second player, you don't count it for the second player, so it always gets one smaller, and then in the end you have to multiply it by 2.
Okay, so you count pairs, in fact. Yes, okay, let me get Felix's answer here. And he kind of proved like something about combination, which is very nice. Oh, very nice. Okay, now I get it. So he says, for example, forget about 2 factorial. He says, one player will play 9 others. You know, I'm just counting the teams of 2, okay? But, you know, the second player, I won't count the first player because I already counted it in the first player, okay? The third, I won't count first and second. So in fact, this is equal to 10, 2 combination, right, Felix?
Yes.
Okay, so theoretically, I'm gonna prove your point theoretically. And 2 combination means n times n minus 2 over 2, okay? And your point is, you say that n2 combination, because of your great reasoning, you say that it is summation from 1 to n minus 1. Am I correct? Because you summed from 1 to 9, because it was 10 players, first player could play 10 people. And we know from mathematics that sum of first n minus 1 numbers is n minus 1 times n over 2. Okay, so yes, it's proved. Okay, your reasoning is perfect. But you could have difficulty if it was more than, let's say, if it was 50 players, okay? So no combination as well, right? Is that clear, Felix, what I say?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it is just same as doing teams of 2. Okay, do you have any questions about the questions about my mock exam? Okay, then let's stop the recording.